Welcome back to Power Tips. We're recording today on Valentine's Day, so it's fitting that we talk about how much we love dynamics for customer service today. So let's talk about some of the things that the three of us saw in the release notes that we are excited about. I'm going to get us started by talking about two agents that I saw pop up in the release notes. The first one is the case management agent. This one is going to automate things like the case creation and updating, one-click collaboration and expert identification. It will integrate into the case timeline, and it will automate your follow-ups and case resolution. So this is a lot like the one that we looked at last session, where we were talking about the sales agent. This one has a public preview of this month. It's not out yet, and general availability in May. So this is another one with a quick turnaround. But the one that I think is cooler is the case knowledge management agent, because who likes writing knowledge articles? In fact, who does write knowledge articles? So this agent is going to automate the creation of knowledge management. It's going to automate like updating existing knowledge management and track the usage, the article quality, all kinds of cool stuff. This one has screenshots in it. The other one did not. And I thought this was really neat. So you have to turn it on. You can see the first screenshot up here is a little checkbox. You want real-time creation and you want creation from historical cases. Both are available. I think that's pretty neat. And the bottom screenshot is a look at some of the metrics and usage or KPIs that you get out of this. This one said public preview for January, but I checked again yesterday and it's still not here. So I don't know where it is, but it's coming soon-ish. Also for general availability in April. So I thought this one was very cool. This is the thing I'm most excited about seeing. What do you guys think about these two agents coming in customer service?
I think this one's really cool and seems like an extension from what we talked about probably a year ago with the Copilot to help an agent build those knowledge base articles. And so now, instead of having the agent do that first step, Copilot can do it. So I think that'll be cool. We just have to figure out what the review process looks like. I think that's where our quality control still comes into play, right?
Yep.
And the analytics. I hope people are actually taking time to look at it. They're all great, but so many times you hear people say, well, we don't have time to look at that. Carve time, make time, because it is actually insightful information.
Yeah.
I also, for the record, like that all of a sudden we're hearing the word agent. I'm pretty confident it's because Microsoft knows that everybody's sick of hearing Copilot. And so they're like, let's just change the name, but it'll actually change the name and everything will just be an agent now and it'll be different. Just my take.
Good take.
I put this feature in here, and so when I was looking at the release notes preparing for this session, I had just been dealing with this exact issue, and I saw it on the release notes, and I got excited. So right now, if you're in customer service workspace and you have to refresh, you have to, restart that tab, it takes you back to the home page, right? So in this case, we're prepping for a demo and we're trying to look at the same cases and accounts, and every time you have to open them up again and kind of follow through the whole process. And you can use your recently viewed, but nothing is kept open for you. So now you'll be able to automatically restore the sessions after the refresh. This does need to be enabled in the upcoming features area, but then your cases, accounts, and any of their application tabs will be restored from your last session, and the focus should be restored to the correct tab that you were on, and any of your conversations also restored. There were some caveats in the docs around certain things. The tabs might not be in the same order and things like that. So definitely something to test out and play around with. Allegedly is in public preview now. I did not look for it yet. I wish I had read this prior to when I was being irritated, and general availability is in April.
Awesome. I actually just experienced that frustration as well in a demo, so this is nice to see.
Now you know, we didn't have to go through that. And my other one was another Copilot Studio Agents for customer surveys. So the idea here is that I can use Copilot to automatically send out my customer surveys, gather that feedback, and begin the process of centralizing all that information and summarizing that information so that you can get your actionable insights, right? So this is great for any of the chat conversations we have, getting those surveys and figuring out how we're impacting users, how we're getting the our customers, right, and how they're experiencing that communication channel, and making sure that if there's ways that we can improve, then we are. This is also public preview now. I didn't have a chance to look at it, but it will be generally available in April. And again, this is going to be something that those analytics are going to be really important, right? And making sure that we make the time to support the Copilot agent, right?
Are these is this all routed through customer voice technically?
I was
I'm not
wondering the
familiar.
same thing.
Yeah,
That is a good question, and I do not know the answer.
that is fair. I'm glad to know I'm not alone. I wasn't going to ask it because I was like, I feel like I should know this, but I'm glad. Thank you for the validation. So yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of information in the doc, so I have a lot of questions. And it also says this is across, multiple channels: email, messaging, voice, and custom. So are we just sending the survey? Are we sending the survey in the same method that they came in the channel? How does it connect? I'm not sure how that all works.
Ooh, that's
the
interesting.
questions.
Or if it's like the personal preference on the contact. So
Right.
Ooh, good questions. We must play with the public preview.
So I picked 3 from the planned section, so they're actually not even slated for public preview until April, all 3 of them. So these will be kind of rapid fire. I took this approach because I try to kind of make sure I'm looking at the future dated stuff to make sure that I have stuff to be looking forward to. So a couple of cool things. I'm not usually big on highlighting the Copilot features, but they all kind of lead to that. So that was interesting for my own brain. Accelerate email responses with intelligent template prompts. So I'm curious how this is going to unfold. The way it reads is that when you open an email template, you can embed Copilot prompts in there so that the agent could copy those and use them as prompts with Copilot. Not sure why you couldn't do that today. So I must be mistaken, because you could just build a template and say, here's your Copilot prompt, put it in the thing, and then you're doing what this is going to do. So I assume it's more than that, but I read it like 4 times and I'm like, I don't think I understand. So what they say the benefits will be is that it's going to reduce the workload, I guess, because the prompt will just be provided for you. And then I'm not so sold on the ensure consistent, accurate customer communication. That was an interesting benefit that it called out. I'm not sure how they could say that it's going to do that, but maybe it will somehow. But it certainly would be great to have the prompt there so that people don't have to. This whole notion of a prompt library has been picking up steam, I've learned lately. So interesting.
Yeah, that
So that's
benefit
one.
almost seems like one for all email templates, not necessarily Copilot driven ones.
Right. Yeah, I agree. This one I thought was super cool. So having sentiment come in, and so this notion of like sentiment and analysis isn't new by any means. It's been around, but you've had to like route things through maybe a flow that's running it through some analysis and then feeding information back. And now it sounds as though it's just going to be layered into the incoming email, basically saying, hey, I read the email for you and it's this customer's happy or not so happy. And that's valuable information to have, right? As opposed to reading the email yourself and making that determination. But I guess it saves a little bit of time in that respect. So I'm obviously clearly a little bit of a skeptic on this. I think it's a cool feature to have. Not sure that we could do that ourselves, but I can see that if the customer sends a long email, to have a quick glance of like, is this a happy email or not so happy email would be helpful. The psychology mind of mine says, I actually think we're biasing people when we do that for them before they read the email so they can make up their own mind about how the customer feels, but that's a whole different boat. So kind of neat. I think it's cool that it's just going to append it right away. That gives people good information, I guess, as they read through. Last one, kind of going back to the email templates, Copilot-powered email template recommendations. So you've got all these templates and that's great. You can now put in a prompt and it will say, wait a minute, you have a template for this, and it'll pull from your list of templates and say, we recommend you use this, and then it'll populate it, and then you can keep it or use a different template. So I think that's kind of cool, because if some organizations really take the template thing to the nth degree, which is awesome. It's giving people this, but who can keep track of them all, and what do they all mean, and what are they all for? So this is kind of synthesizing, okay, I get the context, here's the right template, as opposed to a person having to go and say, shoot, which one is the right template to pick? I think that's a valuable feature. I think that's helpful for organizations that truly leverage that email templates, a lot of them. We'll see how that looks and what it actually plays like when it comes out. All three of them, again, not till April, and none of them have GA dates. So that suggests to me that they're going to wait and see how people are interacting with them and what the feedback is. So kind of neat ones for me in the future planned area. I don't remember which of us was going to outro.
I can do it. So
Okay.
yeah, these are great. Thanks for sharing these, Malcolm. I think it'll be interesting to see how these go, and a great reminder for any of these Copilot features to take advantage of them early and do your feedback, do your thumbs up, thumbs down, and make sure we get so we can get those to GA sooner. But thank you everyone for joining us, and we hope you'll share all the tips that you love and new features that you love on this Valentine's Day. So join us down in the comments, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. Thanks.